Dodgers.com/promotion.
Is this the tiger?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost to the Mets in New York Sunday 8-3. They wrapped up a 6-3 road trip. The Dodgers are back home Tuesday night against Seattle to kick off a 6-game homestand. Today is day 3 of the Rams training camp at Loyola Marymount. No word yet on whether Pro Bowl defensive tackle Aaron Donald is coming out of retirement. The 35-year-old Donald retired in 2024. Donald has been working out at the Rams facility for several weeks. The Chargers opened their training camp Wednesday in El Segundo. The Philadelphia 76ers confirmed that LeBron's son Bronny will not be part of a package deal to join his father. Sixers Vice President of Basketball Operations Bob Myers said there are no plans to pursue a trade for Bronny. LeBron signed with the Sixers on Friday. Bronny is entering his third season with the Lakers. He's under contract with the Lakers for 1 more year. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me put my hard hat on, go back outside, and see if these procrastination Crenshaw construction crews have shown up yet. I'm saving space for grace, but if these trucks don't show up soon, well, you already know.
Destination Crenshaw, your time is up. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 and Bethesda Temple Church invite residents, churches, businesses, and community leaders along the Crenshaw corridor to join a vitally important community conversation Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. For years now, this community has been living with unkept promises and the devastating effects of the unfinished Destination Crenshaw construction project, leaving residents, businesses, and churches to deal with myriad problems, including the loss of parking, restricted access, traffic congestion, and a lack of emergency vehicle access when it matters most. For years now, Procrastination Crenshaw has directly contributed to the loss of customer revenue for local black-owned businesses and, sadly, has forced the closure of some businesses along this 1.3-mile corridor. For years now, churches have been experiencing decreased attendance due to the elimination of parking, and social service programs for vulnerable fellow citizens have been altogether halted. For years now, residents have watched their quality of life erode, and nothing has been done about it. If they think they can get away with treating black folk like second-class citizens, they better think again.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
This town hall meeting is a reckoning, a public witness, an opportunity for impacted community members to share their experiences for the public record as we prepare to hold those responsible accountable for this enduring nightmare. So please join us Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. This town hall meeting is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
I'm from the Bay. I rep it hard. I'm known worldwide, but I blew up from my backyard. I'm from the Bay. That's Northern Cal. They like my songs, they like my smile, they like my style. Let's go. This ain't nothing you ain't heard before. I put a new twist on the stuff from 06. This ain't nothing you ain't heard before. I got a little story, go something like this. This ain't nothing you ain't heard before. I put a new twist on the stuff from 06. This ain't nothing you ain't heard before. Even if you heard it, you ain't heard it like this. It was 2006.
KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to First Things First. I'm James Farr. I'm sitting in for the Queen, Dominique DePrima, and y'all laughing at me in the chat because I did my two-step in my chair, right? Miles queued up some recall for me. Yes, I am from the Bay, but that's not why we're here. We ain't talking about me today. We're gonna get into this next frame of conversation, and so pleased to be joined by she's a Harlem native, a producer at large with Radio Pacifica, and an adjunct professor. She is also a member of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Alumni Network. Her work centers on politics, media, civic engagement, bringing a perspective shaped by journalism. Higher education and public affairs professor Fahima Sick. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on as a guest. That must be from a Wikipedia page I didn't even know I had.
Oh my! Correct the record for me then, because yes.
No, it's correct. You must have pulled something from the government, because I didn't even. I mean, everything is accurate, but they must have compiled the composite on me. But thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be on. You're sitting in the big seat for the Queen.
Yes,
and hopefully she's enjoying herself.
Yeah, the Queen. I'm sure the Queen is Queen. And hey, folks, you can get in this conversation with us, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Yeah, I have no idea. You know, the Queen doesn't tell, us commanders, right? I'm a commander. Are you a queen? Professor. But I have no idea what she's doing and whatnot. But, you threw me off because, we're both journalists, right? And I'm like, I believe I'm accurate, right? I fact-checked.
No, everything was correct. Everything was absolutely correct.
You just want to know how I got a dossier on you. I feel you. I understand.
Yeah. And I just want to make corrections. I am not a journalist. I didn't go to journalism school. I am a talk show host and a producer for Pacifica Radio. You have KPFK out there in California and KPFA, and I contribute to a show called Capitalism, Race, and Democracy, which is a national program that goes out to all affiliates, to all of our sister stations and the hundreds of affiliates around the country. And then also I contribute to a show on WPFW in Washington, D.C. But on to the topic.
Yes. Will the real socialists please stand up, right? And so what I I'm really curious. And I said a little bit earlier, when the student is ready, the professor will appear, right? And so this couldn't be a better time and intersection for my curiosity around it, because I know socialism is often just thrown around, right? And democratic socialists. I mean, it's all in the space right now. So I'm wondering if you can kind of just give us a baseline. What is socialism?
Well, first off, I also want to say I'm not a member of the Democratic Socialists. I am not here to speak for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking as a social scientist. And since we are in California, to help people to better understand it, Congressman Ron Dillon, who was a congressman in California,
Oakland,
was a national chair of DSA. Okay? And this goes back to the 1980s. DSA, which is the Democratic Social, and they're not a political party. They're just an ideological belief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the pardon me for jumping all over the place.
I'm tracking you, though.
I'm going to come back to Ron Dillon in a moment. DSA, Democratic Socialists, became popularized when Bernie Sanders ran for president. Now, ideologically, Bernie Sanders is a Democratic Socialist, but he is not a member of DSA. And DSA is not a political party like the Green Party, for example.
Okay.
Or the Working Families Party, which I'm a registered member of the Working Families Party. And by the way, in New York and in most places where the Working Families Party runs, they have a ticket. They're on the ballot, and many Democrats run on that ticket proudly. When Kamala Harris ran for president, she was on the Democratic ticket in New York and on the Working Families Party in New York. Now, going back to DSA, Ron Dillon was, and I'm starting with him because we are in California on the West Coast. He was the national chair of DSA, and DSA came together in the 1980s, bringing together civil rights organizations, workers, and anti-war activists. And the issue of the day was the anti-apartheid movement. And in fact, that was Ron Dellum's signature legislation. You can look this up. His signature legislation was the anti-apartheid legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mayor David Dinkins, the first African-American mayor of New York, was a DSA member, as well as Major Owens, who Major Owens was responsible for the American with Disabilities Act. And a little trivia, he was Alvin from the Cosby, Alvin from the Cosby.
Yes,
Show. That's his father.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his dad. That's his dad. Major Owens is his father. Now, Mayor Dinkins put together what is known as the concept of community policing, right? I mentioned how Major Owens put in place the American with Disabilities Act, and you guys know more about the sweeping legislation that Ron Dellums brought to California. But his signature legislation was that of the anti-apartheid movement. DSA simply believes in people have a right to a living wage, they have a right to housing, they have a right to education. Now, you have MAGA, which is also an ideological perspective, have been using the term socialist and even saying communist to demonize people who are members of the DSA. And if you look at Mir Mamdani, who was elected in New York, they said all manners of things. And the key thing is they're anti-black. Well, look at Mir Mamdani. That's the key thing.
Professor,
that's the key thing. They're anti-black.
Professor,
right?
I got my notes, right? Because I've been tracking you, and I'm gonna bring you back to a couple of things. I want to when we come forward, right? Baseline understanding, this you lecturing us right now, Professor. And boy, I mean, you are giving us some nuggets, and I'm taking some notes. When we come forward, I want a baseline democratic socialist. And what is a socialist? And then that third framing in there, if we can fit it in that next segment, is when people think of socialism, I mean, probably the first things that come to mind is like Russia and China and Cuba, perhaps. So we want to kind of understand, what does it mean, as an American? What does it mean as a Californian? What does it mean for us in understanding? Because these new terms, being woke was what black folks was until the other people appropriated. That's Professor Fahima Sikshi helping me understand what socialism, and we're talking about, will the real socialists stand up? Stay with us. Courtney, I see you in the chat. Y'all can get in the call queue right now, 800-920-1580. When we come forward, more with Fahima. Only on KBLA.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This November, you'll decide who leads California. So shouldn't you hear directly from the people asking for your vote? Join us for California Voices, a political town hall and ballot forum, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Meet candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and other major statewide and local offices, including Mayor of Los Angeles, city attorney, and LA County Sheriff. Get clear, nonpartisan breakdowns of the propositions on your November ballot, both sides, no spin. And ask your questions directly, in real conversation, face to face. California Voices is brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, giving you the information you need before you vote. Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, California Voices. Follow KBLA 1580 for details and download the KBLA 1580 app. Your vote, your voice. Be there.
Let's do this.
We're heading into one of the most important election seasons in a generation. And with so much on the line, your health care, your economy, your neighborhood, you deserve more than sound bites. You deserve the full story. KBLA Talk 1580 is your trusted voice for political coverage, commentary, and conversation. From local races to national headlines, we bring you the insight and perspective you need to make sense of it all and make your voice heard. Between now and November, a lot will happen. A lot will change. But one thing won't. KBLA Talk 1580 will be right here, keeping you informed, keeping you engaged, and keeping it real. KBLA Talk 1580, the place for politics.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
That's right. The conversation live does continue right now on First Things First. I'm James Farr. I am sitting in for the Queen, Dominique DePrima, and Professor Fahima Seek is helping me understand right now. We're kind of framing up this conversation around, with a real socialist stand-up. You can hop in the conversation. The queue is, the chat is certainly on fire right now, and folks are commenting, so they tracking with you, Professor. Before we came forward, Professor, I wanted to kind of baseline it for those of us who just enrolled in the class. Right, we've heard socialism, we hear democratic socialism, and you were giving us the framing of the background, in terms of the late Congressman Ron Dellums. You also talked about former New York Mayor David Dinkins, and kind of what that I'm seeing I think a through line here that you're talking about, that this is really about us as a black community, but I think we're going to end up in a space where you're saying other folks have kind of co-opted. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself on that. Ground is, Professor, socialism, Democrat socialism.
Well, let me just say this, just a correction. Democratic socialism is not this quote unquote. This is a black thing. It's a collective thing.
Okay.
Because black people are workers. Black people need housing.
Mm-hmm.
Black people need health care. And as I mentioned, in the 80s, when DSA came together, bringing together anti-war activists, civil rights activists, and labor. We are a part of all of those. So this is not Pan-Africanism, it's not black nationalism, it's not cultural nationalism. It is a collective of people, because we are 15% of the population, and we don't live in this world together. So we have to work together with others to build a coalition. And as I said before, and because I don't want you to think that I'm trying to move away from it. I put the working definition of what socialism is in the chat. I think it hit there. Socialism is a political and economic system where the community or the government own and control the means of production, distribution, and exchange. And we have some aspects of that here right now in this country. For example, you don't pay for the fire department. You don't pay, you can. There are some communities that have private fire departments. You don't pay for police.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us would prefer us not to have, but that's a different discussion. We don't pay for secondary education, okay? And we shouldn't be paying for health care. Health care is a universal right. And so I hope we're clear on, and Social Security is another aspect. Many of the social programs that FDR developed were social programs. And MAGA and some of the people on the extreme right continue to conflate things and say, and I just want to go, let's look at Mayor Mamdani. This notion of him being anti-black. That's what people kept saying. And they kept saying, he has no black deputy mayors. Well, one of the things Mayor Mondani did, which is this, because I'm back and forth between New York and D.C. One of the things that he did a 300 and some odd page research on inequity in New York, but looking at the disparity between black New Yorkers and white New Yorkers, not people of color, not poor people and rich people, but black New Yorkers and white New Yorkers, and looked at that income gap, that wealth gap. And he has an office on equity and inclusion, and they're looking at each and every agency to correct this inequity. And it was launched from one of my alma maters, Medgar Evers College. Okay. Also, the director of the Department of Corrections is a man who is a former returning citizen. I don't think anywhere in the United States that they put someone, a black man, at that, for that matter, over the New York City Department of Corrections. And I don't want to.
I'm sorry, Professor, because I'm taking these notes and I'm tracking, and I got to go back to. I understand the definition of socialism, right? The government provides more services or resources to its citizens and residents, right?
Well, it's the government and the community working collaboratively.
Why is that not? Why is that? Why isn't that welfare, right? Why shouldn't that be considered, a handout? Like, why would that model be better for America, for society?
Is public school welfare? Is public school a welfare?
We pay property taxes.
Is the fire department? Welfare?
We pay taxes.
And you also pay into Social Security.
We do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a handout. See, what's happening is we are allowing MAGA, we are allowing the right to say these things, and we're not unpacking.
No. I'm not MAGA, and I'm not saying these things because of MAGA. I could give a MAGA about MAGA, right? Like that has never influenced that's a low bar, right, to say.
But that's where that narrative is coming
from. It doesn't.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I'm nowhere near a conservative, and I certainly ain't a moderate, right? I'm just a free thinking independent black man, and I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question, is it welfare?
I don't know much about your policy, but I gave you examples of social programs in this country, and we both agree public school is not welfare. Okay? We both agree Social Security is not welfare. These are examples of social programs that we currently have that are in place. Medicare for all would not be welfare. And see, what's happening is that we are allowing these naysayers to distort the reality and control the narrative.
No, we busting the narrative right now. I didn't say that those things are welfare. I asked you, why are they not welfare, right? That's what people will perceive it as, right? I don't know about other places in the country, but right now the sales tax here is approaching 11%, right? Our property taxes here, right, are extremely high, right? Compared to what other people. The cost of living here, you got to pay to park on the street. I mean, the government is taxing, taking permits and fees, right? So if that's what we're paying into, I argue differently. I do pay for my kids to go to public school because I pay it because I don't write a check for tuition.
Well, public schools are funded in most places through the property tax.
Yes.
And so those people that are paying property taxes are contributing to the secondary school system. And those people who may not have children in the public schools, they are still contributing. But let's get back to, because what sparked this discussion is the DSA members winning in various places across the country. And I want to go back to the narrative of them being anti-black. Okay. And the only reason why I focused on Zoran Mandani is because they were saying that he was anti-black.
Zoran Mandani, the current mayor of the city of New York, for those that haven't been paying attention. Go ahead.
Yeah, nothing could be farther from the truth, because he placed black people in key positions. Like there was an issue with deed theft. And I don't know if that's an issue in California, with seniors being taken advantage of with deed theft. And so there's actually an office on deed theft. The first time I heard about that was when I came here to D.C. to go to Howard, and there were a number of people who were victims of deed theft. And so there's an office, and black elders were the number one people who were subjected to deed theft. Now, just going back to the fundamental issue of DSA, the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, just had a stellar speech indicating the Democratic Party is a wide tent. And it's an umbrella, and because there's this notion that the DSA is trying to take over the Democratic Party, and that's just not a reality. In Washington D.C., there was a young woman who they tried to demonize and make her all scary. She won the primary, right? Mm-hmm. And this woman, let me tell you how scary she is. She's really frightening. She's a Howard graduate, my fellow Bison. She's an attorney. Her parents were postal workers, and her grandmother was a lunch lady. And she simply believes in affordability. People have a right to a living wage. People have a right to health care, and the things that I think everybody wants. You mentioned about how expensive it is to live in California. Don't you think that people should have some kind of relief? Don't you think that people have a right to a living wage where they can afford?
Oh no, we listen. We are in the same church, Professor, just on different pews, right? We are closer in alignment than we are further apart. I am really taking this opportunity to think about my thoughts out loud, right, and kind of ask them to you in this cursive kind of way, because I'm hearing how people understand it. You ask politically, you don't know necessarily what my views are. Just for the record, I've never denied it. I publicly supported Dr. Cornel West and Dr. Melina Abdullah in the last presidential cycle, which for many people, and those looking at this brother, who looks square and, just kind of could fit in one box, when they found out that I, tell them no, I wasn't for Harris, they obviously thought that I was for Trump. And both of them were offensive, right? And I couldn't see myself, because the values that Dr. Cornel West aspires is, the least of us. So we're saying the same thing, right? We're very much in alignment, but when we come forward, I got news and sports coming up on me. When we come forward, I really want to really get into that anti-black part of it, right? Because typically we lead movements and moments and then get set aside. That's Professor Fahima Sick with me, and we're discussing, will the real socialists stand up? I'm James Farr, sitting in for Dominique DePrima all week long. Stay with us only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is making affordability the centerpiece of Democrats' midterm election message.
In 100 days, you can vote for an America that is affordable and lower the cost of groceries, gas, and housing.
Speaking in Pennsylvania, Jeffries said families deserve a comfortable middle-class life and argued that lower costs will require action, including ending tariffs and addressing the war in Iran. 3 men, including 29-year-old Secret Service agent Marquez Prender, are facing felony charges in a South Florida Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity hazing case. Prosecutors say a University of Miami law student suffered acute kidney failure after repeated beatings with canes and paddles. Pender, Jared James, and Elijah Dias face charges including attempted manslaughter and aggravated battery. And the International Black Theater Festival is underway in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. More than 100 performances and cultural events are scheduled through Saturday, celebrating Black theater and culture from around the world. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Join the Dodgers for Max Muncy Game 7 Home Run Bobblehead Night on August 10th versus the Royals. The first 40,000 fans in the ballpark will take home this exclusive Max Muncy Bobblehead, presented by AM/PM. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
Is this the tiger? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost to the Mets in New York Sunday 8-3. They wrapped up a 6-3 road trip. The Dodgers are back home Tuesday night against Seattle to kick off a 6-game homestand. Today is day 3 of the Rams training camp at Loyola Marymount. No word yet on whether Pro Bowl defensive tackle Aaron Donald is coming out of retirement. The 35-year-old Donald retired in 2024. Donald has been working out at the Rams facility for several weeks. The Chargers opened their training camp Wednesday in El Segundo. The Philadelphia 76ers confirmed that LeBron's son Bronny will not be part of a package deal to join his father. Sixers Vice President of Basketball Operations Bob Myers said there are no plans to pursue a trade for Bronny. LeBron signed with the Sixers on Friday. Bronny is entering his 3rd season with the Lakers. He's under contract with the Lakers for 1 more year. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
That's right. Well, some of y'all ain't for everybody. I'm definitely am. James Farr, I'm sitting in for Dominique DePrima right here holding this conversation down live on First Things First. And you are welcome to get into the conversation. 800-920-1580. 800-920. Professor Fahima Sick is in the queue. Fahima, hold up one second. I got to do some announcements and things right here for the station. Destination Crenshaw is behind schedule. Years behind schedule. Residents, businesses, church, artists, and other stakeholders have questions, and they deserve real answers, not just promises. If empty promises poured concrete, then this project would have opened years ago. This week, join us at a community town hall to talk about the delays, the timeline, and what happens next for the Crenshaw corridor. This public hearing is your chance to get on the record and speak directly to the people making these indecisions at City Hall. Join us this Thursday, June 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. Between the construction crawl, the parking spots, it has eaten alive. Rideshare is now less a suggestion and more of a survival tactic around here. I know that to be true myself. I'm sorry, I drifted. If you cannot join us in this in-person Thursday night public hearing, will be broadcast live right here on the radio and streamed online at KBLA Talk 1580. Our town hall warm-up will be hosted by our very own Dr. Nicordelai Corte, and it starts live at 6 p.m. Our own Tavis Smiley will be moderating the town hall at 6:30. Don't miss it. Your culture, your community, your voice. Professor Fahima, I want to get back into this conversation about socialism. Folks, if you want to get into 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. You got a question for the good professor. Now, Doc, this appropriation part, right? I mean, that's also kind of what we're hearing underneath what socialism isn't or it is. You brought up, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. It's kind of hard sometimes to hear his corporate Democrats speak, but I'm open to hearing what your take is on how he adds any relevance to this him saying that the Democratic Socialist Party, which isn't a party, isn't actually taking over the Democratic Party, right? And I don't know if that's a bad idea if somebody takes over that party, because they ain't doing really what the people are asking. What say you?
Well, a couple of things I want to go back to. You mentioned Dr. Cornel West.
Yes.
I don't know if you're aware that Dr. Cornel West was a honorary chair of DSA in its inception back in the 1980s. He was an honorary chair during the same time that Ron Dellums was a national chair. Now, in terms of, and actually I know Hakeem Jeffries' family very well. Both his brother and I were both at Cornell University with Dr. Turner's Africana Studies Institute back in 2002. So I know both. I know his family very well, and Hakeem is the minority leader. If and when the Democrats gain the House, he will be the Speaker of the House. And the fact of the matter is that the Democratic Party is a big tent, as he articulated while he was on the campaign trail recently, dispelling this notion that the DSA is trying to take over the Democratic Party. And this is one of the things that MAGA has been saying. The reason why we are in this predicament because of misinformation and disinformation. And that's happening right now as we approach the midterm. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation being put out, and people are not checking it. They're just hearing it and just repeating it, wash and repeat. I understand we have something else in common. you use Aisha, the black chatbot, to check and verify things. And I would encourage people to do that, because a lot of misinformation and disinformation is being put out, and folks are not checking.
Now, you talking about me having a dossier on you. How you know? How do you know? Never mind. I don't want to know how you know.
Did you mention it? I thought you mentioned.
I have not mentioned that on air. But what's interesting?
But is it true?
Well, what's even more interesting is this upcoming Wednesday, the founder of Onyx Impact, Sister Oso, who is the engine and the, I guess for lack of a better word, the convener, right, of this AI platform that is owned by African Americans and constructed and designed and all of those. So she'll be joining me, I think 7-8 Wednesday for sure, right?
Bravo.
Yeah, so
Bravo.
I'll have an opportunity to talk with her. I'm actually publishing. I've experienced the app, and I think you'll appreciate what I'm saying. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm also.
Well, bravo.
Yeah, we're doing something with them through a journalism cohort through the Black Press USA, and we're one of the tools that we're, if you will, kind of playing with. It's open to everybody, but. Yes, I did use Aisha to just as a stress test. As a journalist, we have to fact check everything, and so I'm afraid to honestly Google, how people are. You brought up the New York Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and again we're trying to cut through because he clearly shows up as a corporate Democrat. I don't know the man. I don't know his family. I believe they are all good, decent human beings who love black community. But sometimes the brother just, he leaves a lot to be desired, in that political space, right? At least that's what we don't see forward facing. And so when he sends the message that the Democratic socialist folks are not taking over that party, and you're saying that that's a MAGA talking point, right? Tomorrow I think it's Talking Point Tuesday around here, but we're going to be mindful of the language that we're using. If that's a MAGA thing, I mean, I don't know if he's the one to convince someone like me that anything the party is doing, and I'm speaking about the Democratic Party, is going to be effective to, undo or redo, or however you want to look at. Midterms are coming up, to your point. They're 100 days from now.
Well, realistically, every place in this country is different. What works in California may not necessarily work in Alabama. It's not going to work in New York. It's not going to work in Louisiana. And the Democratic Party is a big tent. You have centrist Democrats. You have some people that are leaning to the left, and you have the DSA who are even further left leaning. But we all want people to have a life and liberty and be able to have their children have a better life than they have. I mean, fundamentally, I think all the folks in the Democratic Party, for the most part, want people to have a living wage, to be able to take care of their families and their children to have a better life than they themselves have. And this is the first generation that where our children do not have the same rights that we have, because we have allowed ourselves to be tricked, and we have this orange menace that has been destroying decades of games that are in the White House.
Now, I mean, we again, I am not a Trump apologist.
I never said you were.
I'm continuing to restate that because I just spent an hour with a very informed person, Jazz Mechanic, last hour when we were talking about the housing issues, right? And everything kind of tracks back to Washington, right? And so what I'm saying, I think the mistake going forward is to continue to dangle what we already know in front of us as he is the worst. And you and I both know, sister, that the true history of our country, it looks different, it feels different now, but this is by far not the worst thing that our ancestors have had to endure, races in the White House, right? So I'm trying to cut through this because I get fatigue on blaming Trump, right? And I want to know what we can do as a collective and as a community. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Don't answer. I'm gonna move us forward. I'm gonna leave you with that, right? Because I need solutions. I understand that socialism could be a good thing. I understand we have some forms of socialism. I know that some countries that are not socialist, but I see countries like Japan take care of their people in a different way, right? How does this capitalism and socialism work? Because capitalism has no morality. As you know, it has a fiduciary responsibility to its shareholders. It don't care about me and you. Is the socialism the solution, right? We want to change. I need you to help me and the delegation get there. Stay with us. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Fay Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at wootencenter.org. That's wootencenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Helping communities get connected. Along the Crenshaw Corridor, free public Wi-Fi is now available thanks to Destination Crenshaw and the City of Los Angeles. Whether you're checking email, applying for jobs, finishing homework, or supporting your local businesses, staying connected is easier than ever because access to the internet means access to opportunity. To learn more and find Wi-Fi locations near you, visit www.getconnected.lacity.gov.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Created with a share of the 1984 Olympic Games surplus, LA 84 began operations in 1985 as a grant-making and educational foundation. Today, the LA 84 Foundation supports hundreds of nonprofit youth sports organizations throughout Southern California annually, trains coaches, commissions research, convenes conferences, and maintains the world's premier Olympic and sports library collection. They are transforming lives and communities through the power of youth sports. To find out about youth sports programs for yourself or your child, and to get information about the grants and support they offer to schools and nonprofits, or if you want to make a donation, please visit la84.org. That's la84.org. Or you can call them at 323-730-4600. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-324-3030. That's 800-324-3030. Again, that's 800-324-3030.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
That's right. You absolutely belong here. I belong here. Professor Fahima Seek belongs here. She is my guest this morning. James Farr sitting in for Dominique DePrima right here on First Things First. The Queen is out all week, and I'm going to hold it down, do my best to represent and bring these conversations forward. Before we get to the good professor, Derek, we got Derek calling in somewhere in the Midwest, Colorado. Derek, good morning. You're on with Professor Fahima Seek and James Farr. What you got for us?
Oh yeah, I've been looking at this. We had I think in Colorado we elected a Democratic Socialist to run. And then I started looking at their platform, what they say, what their platform is. I'll give you one of the ideas. And it said, restaurant ownership and profits. Who gets the profits? And it says their platform, not what they say, but what their platform says. If you own a restaurant in a pure democratic socialist system, the enterprise would transition to a democratic worker cooperative. And then profits would not, and then distribution. Profits would not belong solely to you as an outside investor or a single owner. Instead, profits and operational decisions would be shared dramatically among restaurant workers based on economic democratic principles, ensuring staff earn a direct share of the value they produce. And then they have another one talking about renting for profit.
So okay, so Derek, man, I'm telling y'all, I am just joining this class, and I sort of understand what you're saying. Yeah, I sort of understand what you're saying, Derek. Professor, can you distill what he's saying?
Well, first off, thank you for calling in. I think your name is Derek.
Derek.
Yeah. So, again, I don't know who the DSA person in Colorado is. I'm not in Colorado, but I doubt very seriously taking the restaurants, someone's restaurant, and distributing it is something that's going to be practical and work. And I doubt very seriously if the person that was elected has that as something on their platform. So I just would encourage you to look at the actual platform of that elected person or that person who is running to see what they actually believe and not what someone said they believe. Mm-hmm. Go check with Aisha and see what she has to say.
Yeah, Derek, Aisha, if you were listening earlier, it is it's a chat, right?
It's a black chat.
Yeah, it's artificial intelligence chat box that centers black sources, right? And so, I mean, that's a different. Well, actually, that's Wednesday's conversation. So, Derek, make sure you tune in for that as we, unpack that a little bit more. Professor, I'm securing the cabin.
That's an example of propaganda. That's an example of propaganda because I don't think any person that's running for office is going to put on their platform that they're going to take the restaurant and distribute it to the people that work there. That doesn't even make any sense. A lot of this stuff, we have to really, really be careful. And we're under the tyranny of the clock, and you're going to be transition to the next segment. So I just wanted to get in that, we have to be, I'm a pragmatist, and we have a two-party system, okay? And I think that people were propagandized and misled during the last election, and that's why we're here. And what's happening is more disinformation and misinformation is coming out again. So I just would encourage people to please do your research. If you see something, because many of us are subject to confirmation bias, even if it's something that you believe to be true, check it first. Check and verify to see if what you're hearing is true, and then make your decisions based upon factual information.
Where we agree, Professor, is that too many people were propagandized, right? And too many people went for the pump fake. Too many people are single voter. Most people are single issue voters, right? And the thing that they care about most, is kind of what comes into the ballot with them, and then the rest of it is, perhaps misinformed or whatever. But where I keep pushing back on that narrative, when we give the language and the excuse to people for their choice in the voter's box, overwhelmingly white supremacy, anti-blackness, and a racist agenda was a part of this administration. And those who agreed with it stand by it. I had a conversation with a brother the other day who had the black castity, right, to tell me that he voted for Donald Trump, but he wasn't a Trump supporter. This is the idiocy that these people, and I'm gonna talk to John Wood tomorrow, John Wood Jr. tomorrow. I've really got some questions for some black Republicans and all that, but that's not why I was asking. My final minute with you, Professor, I so appreciate it. We could do so much more of this. Is socialism good for us? And then how can people connect with you?
Well, to answer your question, we already have remnants of socialism already in our society. Also, when people come to your house, you are going to, if you only have a little bit of something, that's what black people have historically done. During the Great Migration, you'd have folks come and stay with you until they can get up on their feet. It's to each according to their ability, and from each according to your ability, to each according to their needs. We already have aspects of it, and we're having people put names on these things that we have done historically. People can follow me at Fahima90 on Twitter.
Professor Fahima, thank you so much. I hear you often on these airways in many ways, and I know that we share a common space through media groups that we participate in briefings monthly. First time you and I on the mic. I so appreciate you taking time to spend it with me this morning. Till we have another opportunity. Hey, thank you so much, Fahima, all right?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, folks. Man, 2 hours down, and we're getting to the third hour. There is an article out in Pasadena right now, newspaper, digital publication, talking about some of our coverage this week. Make sure you go check it out. Hip hop's on the dock next. Jay-Z, Can He Live? Davey D, hip hop historian, joins me next hour. Stay with us. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is making affordability the centerpiece of Democrats' midterm election message.
In 100 days, you can vote for an America that is affordable and lower the cost of groceries, gas, and housing.
Speaking in Pennsylvania, Jeffries said families deserve a comfortable middle-class life and argued that lower costs will require action, including ending tariffs and addressing the war in Iran. 3 men, including 29-year-old Secret Service agent Marquez Prender, are facing felony charges in a South Florida Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity hazing case. Prosecutors say a University of Miami law student suffered acute kidney failure after repeated beatings with canes and paddles. Pender, Jared James, and Elijah Dias face charges including attempted manslaughter and aggravated battery. And the International Black Theater Festival is underway in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. More than 100 performances and cultural events are scheduled through Saturday, celebrating Black theater and culture from around the world. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Join the Dodgers for Max Muncy Game 7 Home Run Bobblehead Night on August 10th versus the Royals. The first 40,000 fans in the ballpark will take home this exclusive Max Muncy Bobblehead, presented by AM/PM. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers lost to the Mets in New York Sunday 8-3. They wrapped up a 6-3 road trip. The Dodgers are back home Tuesday night against Seattle to kick off a 6-game homestand. Today is day 3 of the Rams training camp at Loyola Marymount. No word yet on whether Pro Bowl defensive tackle Aaron Donald is coming out of retirement. The 35-year-old Donald retired in 2024. Donald has been working out at the Rams facility for several weeks. The Chargers opened their training camp Wednesday in El Segundo. The Philadelphia 76ers confirmed that LeBron's son Bronny will not be part of a package deal to join his father. Sixers Vice President of Basketball Operations Bob Myers said there are no plans to pursue a trade for Bronny. LeBron signed with the Sixers on Friday. Bronny is entering his 3rd season with the Lakers. He's under contract with the Lakers for 1 more year. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me put my hard hat on, go back outside, and see if these procrastination Crenshaw construction crews have shown up yet. I'm saving space for grace, but if these trucks don't show up soon, well, you already know. Destination Crenshaw, your time is up. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 and Bethesda Temple Church invite residents, churches, businesses, and community leaders along the Crenshaw corridor to join a vitally important community conversation Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. For years now, this community has been living with unkept promises and the devastating effects of the unfinished Destination Crenshaw construction project, leaving residents, businesses, and churches to deal with myriad problems, including the loss of parking, restricted access, traffic congestion, and a lack of emergency vehicle access when it matters most. For years now, Procrastination Crenshaw has directly contributed to the loss of customer revenue for local black-owned businesses and, sadly, has forced the closure of some businesses along this 1.3-mile corridor. For years now, churches have been experiencing decreased attendance due to the elimination of parking, and social service programs for vulnerable fellow citizens have been altogether halted. For years now, residents have watched their quality of life erode, and nothing has been done about it. If they think they can get away with treating black folk like second-class citizens, they better think again.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
This town hall meeting is a reckoning, a public witness, an opportunity for impacted community members to share their experiences for the public record as we prepare to hold those responsible